What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 294 of the Chumpcast. Mark, you're making a weird face. What's wrong with you? You look kind of what like do you have a filter on your camera? Ah. I Yeah, I'm not used to seeing you in sunlight. Usually you're just brooding in the dark. So welcome everybody to this episode 294. As I mentioned, Smithers with here, my co-hosts here, Mark and Brick. Gentlemen, it's good to see you. Mark, congratulations on becoming a father twice over now. Two boys. Your life is going to be hell when they're like 8 and 6. Hang on, I gotta fix your audio. That's my bad. All right, try it now.
Check, check.
There we go. Sorry about that. Anyways, Mark, tell me about being a father twice over.
It's definitely an adjustment. I expected it to be. I don't want to jinx myself, knock on wood, but I thought it would be a lot worse than it is. You're just going to be spending, in my opinion, you will spend a lot of time with your firstborn. Like I'm going on walks to the park with Nolan and doing things throughout the day just to, give Kelly a break.
To occupy him? Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to have a lot of trips to Home Depot or whatever you want to do, but it's going good. Man stuff, definitely.
Doing man stuff with your boys, yeah.
Yeah.
How's Kelly's doing well, I hope?
Baby and Kelly are great, yes.
Excellent.
Doing really well, yeah.
Well, congrats.
The first thing that you said when you popped on here was like, yep, I'm going to New York for a Comic-Con adventure thing. And I was like, oh, really? That's found time for that already. Okay. Don't you have a kid now? I was like, did that happen or no?
We'll figure it out. I mean, that's down the road. AKA, she'll figure it out.
Wow.
Champions adjust.
No.
Wow.
She'll get help from my parents or something. I think I might go for. No, I'm going for 2 days. I'm going to go Friday and Saturday. I might even fly there Friday. It's not that far. Like the New York flights are 2.5 hours from Chicago, and then I'll come home early Sunday.
I've never been to New York City.
It's eye-opening. You don't really truly understand how big that city is until you're there. And there's no alleys like in Chicago. Mm-hmm. I know. It's a little overwhelming though when you get there. You're like, if you see the skyline, you look at it, especially coming from Chicago, you realize how it's like 4 times bigger than Chicago, which I didn't fully comprehend.
I'll never understand like the New Yorker attitude that's like, yeah, we're dickheads. Deal with it. Like you don't have to be a dickhead. You can just be a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
But whatever. It doesn't matter. When did you say it is? October?
Yes, first week in October. Or second. Is that the second week? It's like October 6th through 9th or something.
I absolutely will not be there because I will have kid number 2 by then. So yeah, that's fun though. Brick, your life is hopefully less exciting right now.
Yeah, no, very much less exciting. Just had a coffee, a coffee cake was made yesterday. That was about the excitement in my life.
Wow.
Homemade coffee cake.
That actually sounds delicious. And I will warn everybody now who's watching this on the stream, TJ, shout out. Thanks for showing up and letting us know the audio wasn't working. There is a non-zero chance that my nose will just start gushing blood at some point because I had surgery less than a week ago, but we're here to party.
Nice. I had an injury as well. I licked the knife of the
Dude, what?
Licked the knife of the coffee cake cream.
What?
And I did
the
it like
sharp
this.
part. You could.
Yeah, I know. I did it on the sharp part and went like licked it all the way across like a
That's
fucking
the
regular
only
knife and
thing.
all the jagged edge.
That's the only thing stupider than when they need blood in a movie and they cut their palms. Is the only way that could be dumber is if you were like cutting your tongue.
I know. I felt like such an idiot, and I was like, "You want to know how I got these scars? My girlfriend made a coffee cake.
Did you actually cut it
She was
bad?
a fiend.
Like, was there blood?
No, it like barely cut. I felt it right away, and I was like, "I'm an idiot. What the heck am I doing?"
Thank you for that story. That made me feel a little bit better. I wanted to talk about one thing before we get into the regular show stuff. So I don't know what level of dystopia this is, but Disney officially purchased, or I guess they're renting, the likeness of Stan Lee, the corpse of Stan Lee, I guess, and apparently they can digitally superimpose him into new movies and TV shows and shit now. This is really unsettling to me for some reason.
I feel like did Stan Lee like somewhat set this up prior to his death and was like, how are we going to do all these movies without Stan Lee? Like, they probably had to have had some sort of like, can we do this with you? He was like, yeah, fine, fuck it, I don't care. Or this is like after the fact, there was no, you don't think there's any like premeditated.
I feel like if he made that deal, then we wouldn't have been missing him in movies. Like he would have been in the last few Marvel movies.
That's a good point. So this was what, Stan Lee's estate? Like,
yeah, which kind of makes it even shittier, right?
I guess. But I mean, knowing Stan Lee, I'm sure he wanted to still be part of these as much as possible. It was his life. I mean, Marvel was his life.
Wasn't he doing pretty bad though, health wise, the last few movies?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and he was not young. I feel as though that was an eventuality that he was planning for. But so the rules on this, they can use his name and likeness in films, TV, blah, blah, blah. Digital technologies and archival footage makes sense. They can still make toys and apparel with him. So that's weird.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's Disney.
I didn't even know. Haven't there been instances where Disney has just decided, oh, this person's dead, we're just going to bring him back with CGI? Like, why is Stan Lee the first one that's his family's going to get paid for it? I just done this before, right?
I feel like we should have stopped at the Tupac hologram. Like, that was as far as this technology needed to go. We don't need de-aging. Just find younger actors. This is weird.
The Tupac hologram was really sick, though. At Coachella with Snoop Dogg, bring that out. That'd be unreal. That'd be unreal to see. Come on.
Well, yeah, you just get Stan Lee up on stage next to Snoop Dogg.
What if they bring out Stan Lee at a Comic-Con as a hologram?
Oh, dude, that would be ultimately fucked up.
Floating down in like the Iron Man suit, just like reveals Stan Lee.
Just like
and I'm back in.
The turbo jet hands, just like coming down.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, is that you can do as much fucked up stuff as you want, like in the back end, as long as whatever you produce is cool. If Stan Lee descended from the ceiling in an Iron Man suit, I'd be like, all right, I'm fine with this.
Even if Stan Lee descended like Sting from fucking WWE and it was Stan Lee, I'd be like, damn, that's kind of sick.
Oh, man. As long as he doesn't come down like Bret Hart. And
okay, just a hologram.
I need to immediately move on from that because I automatically feel horrible. Let's do some trailers.
News to us.
I want to start with this, and I'll start with you, Brick, because you mentioned that you had signed up and attempted to get into the open alpha for Multiverses.
Oh, damn, I thought we should have ended with this because then that goes right into our draft.
Kinda. But they're okay. So this is effectively Smash Brothers with Warner Brothers characters, right?
Correct. Yeah, Batman, Harley Quinn, Shaggy, Arya Stark, Bugs Bunny, a whole litany of characters.
Arya Stark's in there?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Wow.
How you both said that. Maybe I sent you guys a different trailer, but she is prominently featured. She's the reason that Shaggy goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah, no, I just didn't catch that was Arya Stark. I just didn't.
I probably did the same then.
Yeah,
see,
I didn't know who that other person was.
Is that bad design though? Because if you don't know who it is, then because I recognized everybody, but I'm sure that a lot of people were like, "Who is that orange dog? Who is Jake from Adventure Time or whatever, or Garnett from Steven Universe?" I've never watched the show. I just happen to know who that is.
Right, and I think we all know just from regular media that we've seen a majority of those characters. It's just Arya didn't. I don't know. She just looked different. She looked like she had a bit of some sort of powers involved.
She even had Needle.
Oh yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't put two and two together right away. I did like that they have the Iron Giant involved in there. That's Superman.
Sick.
Do we want to go down the list real quick? There's only like 15 of them.
Go for it.
You have Iron Giant, Kaz. We saw that. Velma, Arya Stark, Batman, Superman. Saw all that. Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, Bugs Bunny, Finn the Human. That's the one I had no idea what.
That's Adventure Time.
Jake the Dog, Steven Universe, Garnett, Ryan Dog, Shaggy, and Tom and Jerry. That's what they've confirmed right now for the roster.
I'm a little disappointed that they didn't have Daffy Duck involved in there. Daffy Duck's my boy.
It'll be a unlockable
DLC.
character for like $5.
Yeah.
You think DLC? Because it is free to play.
Yeah, that's really the only way they can sustain something like this, right? Is with DLC.
Yeah, well, yeah, that
Free.
or like costumes and designs, like having to fight with like Bugs Bunny dressed in like the hula with the fruit on top of the head and shit like that.
Go ahead,
I
Mark.
wonder if they're gonna. I wonder if they're gonna start, like you mentioned, DLC. If they're gonna start charging for everything though, free to play. I wonder if there's gonna be like the characters are gonna have a bunch of unlockable moves and shit that are gonna make you pay a couple of bucks here and there.
I doubt moves. I definitely think only cosmetic. I would imagine,
You
or
think
just
so?
to get or unlock characters. Yes, but I don't think moves would be. That would kind of suck ass if you
Is that
played the game and didn't have all the moves unlocked.
is that now frowned upon in the gaming universe though? Unlocking something using money to give you an advantage on somebody else? Because I feel like you can do that in World of Warcraft. It's usually aesthetic, like it's usually just a skin or something. But I feel like they've been dabbing more and more into like, you pay this money, we're gonna get your guy to be 10 times better than everyone else.
I think the difference between the two would be one of them is like a competitive pay to win. EA really blew that one out of the water with like Star Wars and stuff, whereas like you unlock the moves and then it feels like it's pay to win type shit.
Yeah.
Whereas the game that World of Warcraft is more of like you unlock this to go on adventures with your friends to beat the computer. It's like a cooperative, like, oh, I got this bitchin' ass sword, now we can go do this raid or whatever. It's not like you're competitively like beating another player and it's like, oh, this isn't fair, this guy just paid to beat me, this is bullshit. I think that went by the wayside with Star Wars, and that the biggest backlash of all time with EA.
Okay. And the loot crates and eventually making certain things illegal because they were treating it like a casino.
You're right. I had that mixed up. World of Warcraft, it's because people were what I was thinking of is when people were selling their accounts because of the amount of time they put into it. Like people were selling it for upwards of like 10, 15,000 that I was seeing a couple of years back.
So crazy.
Looking at the amount of time they were playing like years of their life into this game. It's nuts.
Some of them got paid for it. I think there's two ways to look at the free-to-play thing. Either they're really excited about this product and they assume that they'll sell a lot of DLC, or the opposite, which Brick, you and I discussed briefly before, is this game might suck. Like if they can't pull off the gameplay, all of the characters in the world aren't going to save this.
I saw a review for it early, and it did say that like it was very much like a Smash Bros comp, but it like felt clean. It felt like the fighting was clean. That was the one problem I had with the Nicktoon All-Stars. It was like clunky and chunky and kind of it felt like there was a clear like tier base of characters too. And it just, I don't know, it just like didn't quite flow as well. And I think having it on a different system might help that, because Switch is the Switch. It's limited on its capacity to like I feel like register things properly, and I don't know. It's just like there's Nintendo.
How can you say that when this is
jank,
literally based on a Switch game?
but it's because there's a tier base where Mario is smooth controls. They have him down. They have it down packed. Anything other than Mario or like one of the top AAA tier games for Nintendo, there seems like there's a tier break of like quality.
You've got a lot of hate for the Switch lately.
No, I love the Switch. I've been playing BioShock on there. It's been great, and it's like perfect. It's a great travel game. Every time you want to travel, it's fantastic. But some games, I think you want to have smooth combat. You want to have smooth movements. You want to be able to see things in 1080. It's a 720. You can't even. It's not even.
They
1080.
have a 1080 version now.
Okay, yeah. I mean, come on. Where are we in technology? Nintendo. You're one of the biggest brands of all time.
When it's that small, it doesn't need to be.
Steam's making a portable PC.
Okay, whatever.
I'm just saying, Nintendo is one of the biggest. Well, Nintendo is one of the biggest companies in the video game industry from forever. It's like maybe you should be the industry leader, not just like I have Mario.
Do you think they really didn't sit down and do their research about the excess cost that would be involved and how they would have to pass that to consumers and how many people that would turn off? Like, they're exactly what you said, a very successful business that's been around for over 100 years. I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but I mean, I obviously know what they're doing to a certain degree, but also at the same time, evolve a little bit more. I'm thinking they're in their own little bubble. They're in their own little Mario bubble, and they get all the money from Japan and overseas, and they like it's huge over there. But I just think internationally, they are less in terms of like content that they create. It's less engaging worldwide than it is, I guess, other platforms. Like they don't do any AAA titles that are like a little bit more gory or like adult rated. I feel like they
Well,
they
not
do,
everything
but it's
has
like
to be that way, though. And you just said you're playing BioShock on it. Mark, take your hard drive off your desk.
right. I'm playing BioShock on it, but that's like a remake from.
Yeah. No, I follow. Look,
it just seems like they don't have any. I don't know.
It's an opinion thing. But I mean, how many copies did Arceus just sell? That Pokemon game,
I know,
millions. There's still people that love it, and I get your point. But
grow with your audience. It's one of those things too.
I'll give this a shot. I wish it was coming to Switch because that's probably where I would have played it. But at this point, it'll probably be just a PC game to me. And if it's free, fuck it, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, maybe we'll stream some.
We're only going to say that for another 2 years before we actually do it.
Yeah.
But
We should do Rubber Bandits.
Give it up.
Rubber Bandits is a stupid
I'll
game
play
that
it.
we can stream. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some movie trailers, though. And we'll start with some weird shit first, because 3,000 Years of Longing with Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba. First of all, any movie that has Tilda Swinton in it is going to be weird. I feel like that's just par for the course now. But this is from the mind of George Miller, who most recently is of Mad Max Fury Road fame. I think he's still making that movie with Charlize Theron, the follow-up to that. But what'd you guys think of this? This is Idris Elba is a genie, and Tilda Swinton is making wishes or not making wishes. Isn't that the always paradox that follows a genie, is you're mine until I make my third wish?
Right. And I feel like there felt like there was a lot of trepidation in the trailer of her like not making wishes, and I felt like all of the CGI that we saw was like her going over the possibilities of what that wish would entail. It wasn't exactly her making the wish. She was like thinking about how this would play out. That's the way I kind of took that trailer,
Okay.
which I thought it was a nice little interesting minor twist of like how they go about the genie and like the three wishes.
I'm always good for an original idea, so I'll at least give it a shot. But Mark, what did you think?
I think Tilda Swinton's character is just doing a bunch of acid in her hotel room and is just tripping balls, and that's what she's seeing with the genie.
Okay. I mean, that is certainly a take. This is
you?
coming, I want to say 2 months from now, but I didn't write that down because I wasn't paying attention. All right. Something I am genuinely excited for is the return of Umbrella Academy with season 3. So I want to kick this off by asking if you guys remember where it left off, because it was fucking wild.
Multiverse is huge everywhere right now.
And aliens, and yeah. So I have a synopsis for this. So they stop the 63 Doomsday. So they go back in time to the Kennedy assassination and all that. First of all, if you haven't watched this show, you absolutely should, because it's brilliant. But exactly what Brick mentioned, they end up in the multiverse, and they end up with their, I guess, evil counterparts in the Sparrow Academy. I never read these comics, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because sometimes you just want to be told a story that you don't already know a version of. But there's some weird shit going on here. Ben is alive in their alternate universe, but he's a dick, and they say dickhead a bunch. I am very excited for this. Mark, what do you think?
So for the listeners that have never watched an episode of the show, to reiterate, go watch this. This is one of the few shows I thought season 2 was better than season 1.
Much better.
I loved season 2.
Season 1 was great, but then season 2 like really brought everything together so much that it elevated season 1, I thought.
I think it was
After
honestly
season
because
2.
of the setting change. Because they went from small scale to large, like you're in Dallas. I felt like the entire first season was just in the mansion. I know that's not the case, but
yeah,
that's what it felt like.
But also like the character development that they like went through, and like Luther's second season was like actually hilarious, and they really developed the characters well. And now that they have this multiverse, it's just, rather than like the 5 siblings or 6 siblings that they had, now it's like doubled. So there's just 12 siblings all fighting. They have great banter with each other, and then they all have superpowers, so everything kind of just goes haywire. A lot of action in the trailer too that I really was like, damn, this is going to be sick. And the soundtrack
banger
is
of a
always good
song.
too. Soundtrack is always good too.
Yes. Ballroom Blitz, I will always bang my head to. Yeah, I'm very excited for this as well. This should be coming in June. And Brick, this next trailer is one that you sent me. Jerry and Marge Go Large. And I'm guessing that you're only in on this because it's Bryan Cranston.
1,000%. It's literally like a humble man trying to scheme the system to get rich, but instead of meth, he's dealing with frauding like the lottery. They like figured out how to game the system.
Yeah, so that's the premise here. Is this man is about to retire and he feels like he doesn't have enough money and he doesn't have anything to do with his life, so he figures out a way to defraud the lottery, which they really frown upon, by the way, because a lot of that money goes to schools. It's effectively a tax on people who think that they're going to get rich playing the lottery. But this is
stupid people paying into the school system.
Which I guess you got to find some way to do it. But yeah,
yeah, right.
I'm less interested in this. The acting looks good and okay, but I feel like everything that I could get out of this movie, I got out of the trailer.
Yeah, I love a good con artist story. I love a way we can kind of game the system and kind of beat the man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just like the way that Bryan Cranston can kind of portray this like really intelligent, smart, like he like knows how to like weasel his way in to a certain degree, but it just like, I don't know, he just like seems like he can pull off smart things and make it reasonably believable.
But why have an accountant? He literally says it in the trailer, like, what am I paying you for? I'm smarter than you. I don't know. Mark, what do you think?
I'm here for this. I'm trying to understand, like, yeah, it's fraud, but isn't what they're doing just buying a ridiculous amount of lottery tickets to just increase the probability of winning? Yeah. I'm sure,
but it's like counting cards at a casino. It might not be explicitly illegal, but it's definitely frowned upon.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can be banned from playing the lottery.
It's an interesting premise. I like that it's based on loosely probably a true story. What's more important, though, is what I'm seeing all over TikTok and online with Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston doing their little tour around America to promote their mezcal, I think their tequila brand. So, dude, there are just videos of them just pouring shots down people's throats in all these bars across America. It's great. If you haven't
science, bitch.
Dude, if they're coming to Chicago, we gotta go.
They already were here, I think, last week.
That sucks. Oh well.
Yeah.
Okay, another television series getting its return. The Boys returns July 8th, and we get our first long look at Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, who still makes me think of Soldier Boy Tellum, but he's going to be the one to take on Homelander, I guess.
He's gonna Superman that hoe.
Yeah, exactly. And we see Billy Butcher finally leaning into his darkest side and becoming a soup for 24 hours. So they give away quite a bit in this trailer, and boy, is it violent.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They give away a lot, but I feel like that's everything that we kind of more or less expected from this series, and they're going to take it and they're going to make lots of twists and turns, and I can't wait to see how psycho, like Titty Milk McGee over here,
Titty
Homelander's going to go crazy.
Titty Milk McGee.
Cambodian titty.
I don't even know what to say. Oh shit, my mouse died. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that completely threw me off. Mark, what are you most looking forward to here?
So obviously I'm thinking of some of the last seconds we see in the trailer, last 10, 15 seconds, where Billy Butcher is getting his powers for the day or 24 hours, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to think back to the animated show. Did you guys finish that? Was there like a terrible side effect? I'm trying to piece it together. Like, what does that mean for this season? Because didn't they do an episode of a guy that was taking the pills to get powers for a day?
I think so.
And they were like,
you know what? I couldn't stick through the whole thing. It just got redundant and kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't really speak to that.
I just think he's going to get power hungry. He's going to get a little taste of, getting these soup powers for the day. And I don't know if he's going to turn or if he's just going to go batshit crazy. But I think Billy Butcher's going to be a main focus.
Yeah, or if the powers run out right when he's about to take out, like they're in the middle of the fight and the powers run out and Homelander's just like about to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone else has to save his ass. But I don't know. I like how everyone's kind of teaming up against Homelander, even Maeve. Is that her name?
Yeah, Queen Maeve. Yeah. I forgot how, like, what a reaction this elicits from me, this show, because I I always forget how ridiculously violent and gory it is. And then it's like you watch a trailer and it's just jarring. But I do love that we live in an age where I can just see a Seth Rogen tweet where he posts this video, and all of a sudden I'm watching people get their heads exploded. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm in on this for obvious reasons.
Do you think the kid's going to have a predominant role in this? Like Noah? I mean, he did go through puberty. You could see in the last 2 seasons. So yeah. I wonder if they're going to really start utilizing this kid and he's going to be fucking shit up.
I bet he shows up for a pretty big part in this, I think. And I would like to see the battle between good and evil rage in his head as he tries to figure out whether he should murder everybody or try and help people. I feel like that's a good trope to walk the line of. But
we are hitting a show like gold in a like month era here, because we got Love and Death and Robots came out this week. Next week we got Stranger Things.
Oh shit.
The following week after that we get The Boys. Like,
The Boys is in July, I think. But it doesn't matter.
June 2nd.
Really?
It was June.
Maybe whatever.
That's good for me because I don't know when I'm going to get to the theater. I do want to see Top Gun really bad. It's getting awesome reviews from what I'm seeing.
It is, and I'm so torn on this because they could have just left it alone, but
yeah, but it's Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, he's so incapable of just like walking away. He has to be the best at everything, and it drives me nuts.
But if you were working for a film company and you're like, all right, Tom Cruise is still off his fucking rocker, he's doing all of his own stunts, you'd be like, we got to bring back Top Gun.
Dude, he puts butts in seats. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that he's a fucking psychopath. Elise is in the chat saying that Kenobi actually starts next week as well, although we'll get one at a time of those. Mm-hmm. Speaking of...
The Boys is June 3rd. June 3rd, The Boys comes out. So the week after that, we have 3 giant shows coming back.
I love it when I'm wrong.
Starting. It's great.
All right. Speaking of Disney Plus and Kenobi, we got a first look at She-Hulk, and it looks funny and good and fun, but there's some real Uncanny Valley shit going on here that I do not enjoy. I never felt this way with the Hulk. It's just I feel like they're not putting as much into this.
It's the movements of She-Hulk. I was like trying to wrap my head around it. It reminds me of a video game, like how it is at that Uncanny Valley level, but with a video game, like the movements aren't always smooth. And I feel like that's how it was in this trailer. I don't know if that means they're going to fix it, but even like the flow of her hair, it was those sorts of things that I think really made it stand out. And like, you realize, okay, this CGI isn't doing it for me.
I did see Wong in the background, and Abomination is in a jail cell at one point. So I guess that's kind of canon here.
So are they doing like more like a crime show, kind of like
a procedural,
CSI, where like she's like the lawyer, and then they're gonna get different people in there that she's like kind of defending? That's
my understanding, and that's how that. This was a comic book run. Shit, I'm totally forgetting who did it now. I know Chip Zdarsky did it for a little bit, but I'm thinking of the one before that. Doesn't matter. I mean, we're gonna watch it, so. Who cares? We can sit here and nitpick it, but we know damn well that we'll turn it on when it drops. So,
of course. Also, by the way, June 8th, Miss Marvel starts.
I don't know. I feel like that's going to be aimed at a much younger audience, and that's fine. I just don't know if it'll be for us. We'll see. I don't want to.
I guess there's probably a reason that they're doing it alongside with Obi-Wan Kenobi, like a banger of a.
That's my thought property. As well. Yeah. Okay, last trailer, Spiderhead. And I'm saving this for last because honestly, it kind of looks like the best trailer of the bunch. I did not expect this from Netflix.
It was surprising.
June 17th, starring Chris Hemsworth, Journey Smollett, Miles Teller. How the fuck does Miles Teller keep getting work?
I don't know. I just started watching The Offer on Paramount.
I think he's that good of an actor. And everybody says he's just an asshole.
That's what I've heard as well. But I for some reason, a lot of people like him.
All right, so this is a prison where the inmates are allowed to roam freely as long as they let them test their drugs on them, which is a cool premise and might lead into something that I'll talk about a little bit later. But there's obviously a very wide range of drugs, and you see the difference here. It's ripe for misdirection and hallucinating things maybe as throwing you off the path of whatever. But there's a lot of possibilities here, and I feel as though this is something that could probably turn into more of a franchise, maybe? Mark, you didn't send me this, did you? I don't know. Doesn't matter. What do you think?
I sent this to you. Mark, take it away.
Miles Teller wise, I just thought his performance in Whiplash was very admirable. So I'll just say, I think that's that's a main reason why people respect him as an actor. He's also in Top Gun Maverick, so have fun with that. When you watch Top Gun, you're gonna be like, "Fuck, this guy's in it too."
I'm pretty sure he's gonna be the asshole though, and like if he's playing the asshole, I think I'm okay with it. Philly guy, can't wish it upon a worse person maybe, but I'm just sitting here shitting on a guy I've never met and don't know. That's what the internet's for.
Spiderhead looks cool though. Chris Hemsworth not having his Australian accent is kind of weird, in my opinion. I can't think of many roles where he's actually doing just a regular American accent.
Feels unnecessary, right? Like, just let him talk.
Yeah, it's like you could just be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just do your regular accent and you're fine. But yeah, it looks really good. I like this trailer a lot.
Yeah,
right.
It looks really interesting because it's basically like it's a drug, but it's like directly correlated with like the human emotional states. So like they were showing that he turns the knob all the way up, and all of a sudden like this girl's like super orgasming, or like this guy just like is laughing uncontrollably because he has no senses, like he can't stop laughing, or just like anger. They're putting the emotion into these people and just like seeing how they react, and then they're kind of testing around drugs, and it just like really, it's like dark, but like they're in this beautiful island and they're trying. It's just a really cool setting, and I like the cast as well.
Wasn't there a scene where two inmates were banging? Do you think Chris Hemsworth is just going to sit there and be like, good,
100%,
nice,
100%? That's what's going to happen. Just testing dick pills on prisoners. Yeah. Also, it's kind of fucked up that I could totally see this being a thing that happens. Like, we'll give you 5 years off your sentence if you test this drug for us.
Right.
But you might die.
All right, I got a couple bits of news that we're going to blast through here, and then we'll move on. Daredevil is set to return as a Disney Plus series. So this is not yet confirmed that it'll be Charlie Cox. But in the past, anytime Kevin Feige has talked about it, he's said that Charlie Cox is our Daredevil. Vincent D'Onofrio is our Kingpin. So you have to assume that that's going to happen here. It will be a different writing and production team, but I'm excited to see this, and I loved the 3 seasons that we got on Netflix. As long as they don't bring back Iron Fist, right, Mark?
Yeah, that was bad. I don't think there's any way it's not going to be Charlie Cox. What I would like to see, though, is as they keep doing this multiverse stuff, is just bringing Ben Affleck as Daredevil. Just
Jennifer Garner as Elektra, yeah.
Yes, that would be great. People would really appreciate that.
I think I'll be surprised if we don't see Charlie Cox in the She-Hulk series.
Yeah.
Oh, the lawyers. Yeah, lawyer to lawyer.
That could very much happen, I think.
That could 100% be like the extra like scene at the very end, how they like either teamed up on a case that's like going to be crazy, or they're against each other in a case in a court. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I can't see them really being against each other, but it is kind of wild that Sony threw him in that Spider-Man movie and was just like, all right, this blind guy can stop a rock that's coming at Tom Holland. Let's just move right past that. Go on.
Yeah.
Not even mention it ever again. Okay. Brick walked away, but this news bit was for him. After a 3-year hiatus, Charlie Brooker has confirmed that Black Mirror is Charlie Brooker didn't confirm that because we don't know if Charlie Brooker is still attached, but Black Mirror is coming back. So apparently a few years ago, Charlie Brooker left this production company that was in charge of Black Mirror. I don't think that without Brooker there is a series, so I hope that they can get him on. Mm-hmm. But he went on to do some motion picture length stuff. Mark, do you even remember where we left off in Black Mirror?
No, and I know they tied some episodes together, but it's an anthology series, so I'm not like worried about just picking this up right off the bat.
That's fair. I will, and sorry to interrupt you, but I will say that knowing those things and then seeing like the John Hamm episode, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I get your point.
It was cool seeing that they tied some episodes together, which was like cool. How, especially the episode where they like brought in all the little weird trinkets. And I think it was like the last season finale of season 2 or something. But season 3 was only 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And I only remember the one about like the car in the middle of like the field, and it was very vague, and I don't remember too much about it specifically. But
we also got that weird choose your own adventure movie that was mediocre.
Yeah.
Right.
But
so I mean, I'm here for it, but I'm not like marking my calendar when it comes back.
that's a good way to put it. All right, let's get on to some recommendations.
Here's some money. Go see a Star War.
I'm going to surprise the shit out of both of you right now because I have a movie that you should not watch, and that movie is Old, which is now on HBO Max.
Wow, he did it.
How bad was it?
This is an M. Night Shyamalan movie that should never have been made. It shouldn't exist. It offends me that people watched it. It offends me that it keeps showing up on my watched list in HBO Max. So this was a very effective punishment movie. Let me ask you guys this. Is it funny? So M. Night Shyamalan uses a rapper as one of the characters in this.
Mm-hmm.
And he names him mid-sized sedan. Is that the cringiest fucking thing you've ever heard?
I don't even know how to like predict the attributes of how this person looks. Are they kind of big, but
I can just
still,
picture
like,
him
under 6
writing
foot?
this and like laughing hysterically to himself. And everybody else in the room is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's like, no, we're using it. We're using it.
So I'm going to spoil the fuck out of this
Biggie,
movie.
or it's Lil Wayne, or so he just
That's
did
not even like
mid-sized sedan.
nobody.
It's not
Even, it's not even like a spin-off of somebody else's name of another rapper. It's just dumb.
Jeez.
Anyways, so the premise is obviously there's this beach that if you go to, it ages you more rapidly, and it's they mention how long it is, but frankly, it doesn't fucking matter. The kids, like Alex Wolf, is a little kid. He's like a 6-year-old when he shows up, and by the end, he's a 50-year-old man. But the premise is it's this vacation front, and people go there on free vacations like they win, quote unquote, win a vacation. But what's happening is all of them have rare diseases, and they're testing drugs on these people. So it's another pharmaceutical thing tying back kind of to Spiderhead. And that's the big reveal at the end, is that without like they cure sickle cell anemia or something because the rapper had it, and they are able to put him through trials much more quickly than they ever would have been able to.
But the side effect is he turns into a mid-sized sedan.
Yes, exactly. He turns into a Honda Accord.
Okay.
No,
Well, now I'm not going to watch it because you spoiled the whole thing.
good.
So
I don't want anyone to watch it. You're welcome. I just saved you 2 hours.
Who is this doppelganger Jason Bateman looking guy? Who's that guy?
The main guy? I don't
think
really
so.
see Jason Bateman in him, but
I don't know. This picture makes him look like him, kind of.
maybe he has an accent, so maybe I didn't connect the two. Maybe that immediately disassociated. But anyways, I watched Old, and it sucked. So, Brick, what have you been watching?
Love, Death, and Robots came out, and I wanted to show before I got into it. It was probably Thursday, and I showed my friend Krisky a show, and I was like, have you ever heard of Black Mirror? I asked it, kind of tied it to it like that. But my question to you guys would be, what would be the first episode of Love, Death, and Robots that you would show to somebody to introduce them to the series? Because they're all pretty fucked up, and they're all short, and they're all like where do you kind of start with?
The 3 Robots ones are easy to digest because there's not a bunch of murder and gore. It really depends on. So if I was going to show this to Mark and try to get him to watch, I would start with Kill Squad Kill because it's just brutal murder the entire time, and Mark is a psychopath.
Okay. Or Sonny's Edge or whatever.
Yeah,
It's very dependent on the person.
Exactly.
Right.
It's you have to know what they're into, and and frankly, I like most of the episodes, but there are some I don't like too. So you're not going to like everything, which is kind of what's great about it is they cover such a broad spectrum. The Swarm one, I think, is the last one I watched. I've got 2 episodes left, and I thought that one was kind of dumb.
Yeah, no, but that I honestly I didn't like the yogurt one the first time I saw it, and then I went back and I was like watching. I was like, that's pretty good actually. You know, there's some things you kind of appreciate more like the second go around because just the way you remember it playing out. But the first episode that I showed him was the a helping hand, the astronaut one.
Oh God, why?
I thought it was quick, and it was like an absolute just attention grabber.
It's definitely an attention grabber.
Yeah, but I tried to explain like, yeah, it's like really good animation, and it's like really short, like captivating like stories that just kind of grab you in.
So
go
ahead.
Mike.
I was just gonna say I've watched one episode, and typically I'll go in order, but for some reason I saw the little thumbnail for the season and I clicked it. It was Mason's Rat. Speaking of gore, but here's the thing. I think that's a great episode to kick it off for somebody because you want them to understand how much gore is in this, but yet because the gore is coming from just killing rats. I mean, unless you have a pet rat, I can't really think of people that really have a lot of love for a gross rat.
Attachment.
So, and the animation style in this episode is really fucking awesome. So I would say that's a good episode to kick off a binge with, because you're getting an understanding of kind of how the show's going to be, because the majority of the episodes do have a lot of gore, or there's some disgusting things going on, like the astronaut one. That one's
Aquila Rift, the Aquila Rift or whatever, beyond the Aquila Rift, where he's like fucking that spider gross thing. It's just like a fucking crazy, like
the whole series
Gears
is
of War, like,
just a mind fuck, really. And that's what's great about it. I think I loved the zombie recreation, mini zombies. It was just so cool to watch every zombie trope of all time just be thrown into a 10-minute clip. And they do it with like these little miniatures and stop action, which if you know what kind of work goes into that, it's really cool. But yeah, it's a great show, and it wins Emmys and shit for its design and all the time, and it should.
I think one of my favorite episodes though is the it's like the anime it kind of had a Samurai Jack feel to it, where it's about the two brothers, the younger brother,
fighters.
who's like bringing them into the crew, and they go out on the ice and stuff, and there's that monster or whatever,
big ass whale that's coming down. The art in there is great.
Yeah, that's a amazing art, really fast paced episode that would get you hooked to the show as well.
All right, good enough. Mark, you got anything? What have you been neglecting your new baby to watch?
Kelly and I started Under the Banner of Heaven. It stars Andrew Garfield. It's from FX. You can probably hear my dog just barking at nothing. If you have Hulu Live or whatever Hulu subscription, you can watch it right now. It's okay. I thought it was going to be more like there's a big murder mystery. Yeah, but Garfield's really good in it. It's just it gives you a lot of information around this like Mormon family, and honestly, I just didn't really care as I'm getting through like the fourth episode. They just really get deep into the roots of this family and then tie it back into whoever the guy that started the Book of Mormon was, whoever created that book.
John Smith.
John Smith. Yeah. They keep like referencing scenes with him and how it relates to this family. And it's just, I don't know. I'm like, give me more of the murder. Sometimes I just feel like it kind of goes off the rails. It's okay though.
Okay.
If you're looking for something to watch and you do like murder mysteries, I'd give it a try. If you're not into it, into like episode 3, yeah, maybe pass on it. But
Fair
it's
enough.
all right.
Did you guys start that show? We Own This City with Baltimore Police with John Bernthal.
I got really close like twice, and I was like, I don't feel like watching another show about a crooked cop in Baltimore.
It's a limited series, but the end of the first episode, I'm like, oh, that's a nice little twist in here. And I think we're Krisky and I are into it. We like the way it's put together.
I like that you're not a lone person anymore. Like,
yeah, Krisky
and it's not your girlfriend that's we. It's me and Krisky. We watch everything together now. Are you literally looking at him right now?
No. I'm looking at HBO Max here. See what else we've been watching.
Okay.
I love how they made Marlo Stanfield a cop in this new show.
That's funny.
That's pretty hilarious.
I will also mention that Barry came back. I think we're 3 episodes in at this point, and I finally finished Winning Time, and yeah, it's still incredible. So
awesome. And I also caught up on Barry. I just binged the first 2 seasons like last week, and then I got to the 3rd season. Thought it was completed, but it was just like oh, this is only the 4th episode? Shit. And I now have to wait weekly. Bummer.
Yeah, that does suck. That's one of the downfalls of Sunday night HBO, but I mean, it's still a really good show. Bill Hader is such an incredible actor, and Henry Winkler does an incredible job too. He's such a good shithead. I don't really know how else to describe it. But he has good reasons too. Like, I won't say anything and spoil it, but let's move on to our draft. All right, boys. We got a doozy of a review coming in just a few minutes. And in honor of Chippendale Rescue Rangers coming back, thank you, John Mulaney and Andy Samberg, we're going to draft some cartoons that we want to see rebooted. We argued a little bit about whether we should include stuff that is planned to be rebooted already, but really everything already has a reboot planned, so there's no getting around it.
Exactly.
Maybe next week we need an update on the standings. I know I won the last official draft, but we didn't put a poll out for the one that Brick and I did. Mark, were you, you know what? You probably haven't even watched it, so I won't ask. But we're going to draft the cartoons we want to see rebooted, and I'm going to pick the order here. Brick, I'm going to make you go first, Mark second, and I will take the turn.
That's probably a good call, honestly.
Too many to choose from.
There's a zillion to choose from that I think should get remade. I think the first one that I want to go, it's 1-1. I was literally asking everybody. I was like, what do you think a 1-1 cartoon would be like to draft? Because there's just literally an abundance of options. It was tough, but I think I'm going to go Tailspin.
Really just kind of going on this Chip and Dale's kick,
With
huh?
Baloo, dude. I don't know. I loved that old school show. I thought it was just, I just loved all the characters that they had in it. It's a great concept. Baloo's back. I love Tailspin, so Tailspin.
Ooh. All right, fair enough. Mark?
That was DuckTales. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Minus a point.
Fuck you.
We're gonna get so many people in the comments just being like, "That's already gonna get a reboot in 2023."
Tailspin
you know
is
what I don't
supposed to
care
be a
about?
reboot. Yeah.
That okay?
Do not care.
Because I know Disney Plus already announced that this was coming in 2023, but I'm gonna say X-Men 97, the animated series, for my first pick.
That's fine. I don't know. I wouldn't have picked that one just because whatever, doesn't matter. All right, I get 2 picks. My 1-1 overall would have been Courage the Cowardly Dog because I absolutely loved that show, and I think that it would be great to do with an animated Courage. And Betty White would have been perfect as the mom. Unfortunately, she passed away with big curly hair, but I'm picturing like Christopher Lloyd as the angry old farmer or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
You
that
want a live action.
I think
Courage
that
the
would be
Cowardly
really
Dog?
cool. You could do some horrifying monsters because that show was actually pretty scary. Definitely scary for kids. Probably fucked me up a little bit, but that's
You know what's funny about that show is today we were Ashley's brother Kevin is here, and he was talking about that show is written from. There's a theory that the show is just written from the perspective of an actual dog, because he's just out in the middle of nowhere, which is just like he doesn't know. He's never gone anywhere else. So he doesn't know anything else, and then all the strangers that come to the house are just like they seem scarier than they are, and I guess that's the reason that the 2 people in the show just like aren't scared or aren't fazed by these people. It's just
I like that theory. That's fun.
the dog is like, oh shit, go, trying to save his owners, but the owner's like, this stupid ass dog is making me look stupid all the time, and it's just like,
Stupid ass dog, make me look stupid.
so yeah,
All
great
right.
pick. I love Courage. Courage,
And
Cowardly Dog.
with my second pick, I think I'm going to go with Dexter's Lab.
Okay.
I don't know.
You just want the mom's ass.
Wow, you said it, not me.
Yeah, but you said Mark had a great idea to do.
No, that was not a great idea.
marry, fuck, kill, and then eat a cartoon character, and then Smithers was like, "I'm gonna eat Dexter's mom's ass."
I definitely didn't say that. You said that.
Mark said that actually.
Dude, we have the conversation in the Discord. We can post it.
Exactly.
All right, Mark, what's your second pick?
I'm gonna go Hey Arnold.
I knew you were going
love
to pick
Hey
that.
Arnold.
You're the only person who likes that cartoon. That show sucked.
Oh, shut up, dude. It's so good.
Wasn't funny at all.
Didn't
Don't
need to
care.
be funny.
Yes, it
Heartfelt.
does. Whatever. Brick, give me 2 picks.
2 picks. I'm gonna go Rocket Power because Rocket
Okay.
Power was fantastic.
You're okay with that,
Woody,
Smithers?
woody.
It's better than Hey Arnold.
No,
That show sucked.
no. There's so many legendary characters that come from that show. The grandpa.
You just have horrible taste.
My third pick. I think I'm gonna do it just for the visuals. I'm gonna go Gargoyles. Disney's Gargoyles.
I'm not sure how you pull that off. I mean, not that it matters because we're not really doing this, but people look too fondly on that show too. It wasn't as good as everybody thought, but
I'm doing it just for the visual aid.
fair enough. Mark,
Gargoyles. I remember that. Oh yeah.
that or like, no, never mind. I don't want to say that because then somebody might take it. Mark, go ahead.
One of the greatest shows to ever come out of Nickelodeon. Real Monsters. Give me that.
I thought I was going to get that value
Give
pick.
me that. Give me that.
All right. I'm going to go with Johnny Bravo. And I want this exclusively because I think Jack Black would be an incredible Johnny Bravo. I don't really know how he would do it, but... And you'd never be able to make the show now because he's a womanizer and kind of a piece
I
of
was gonna
shit.
say that's not going to hold up this day and
No,
age.
that's why you do it in this day and age so that you can play off of it. As in, maybe Johnny Bravo's down on his luck, or he's trying to like go to women's rights rallies and then do his little spiel.
Maybe he like grows his hair out, is wearing like really baggy shirts now, drinking IPAs, and he's just like an Oregon bro or something. I don't know.
I could see like a Chip and Dale style like revival of like, yeah, Johnny,
Where like your shit's
style is
played out,
not
everybody
working,
hates
man.
you.
yeah, your style's not working anymore, man.
Yeah.
You need a new, you need a new persona. You need to have a new like image. Like he's going through like some sort of agency to get his image taken care of or some shit like that.
I think I just
Become
realized
more
that
threatening.
I'm only wanting this because I want more Jack Black, and that's a character that I think is over the top and perfect for Jack Black. Stop making Jumanji, go make Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo is jacked and wears a black shirt. That's funny.
Hilarious. The only reason I'm not mad at Azrael in the chat for dropping Angry Beavers is because that was going to be my pick, and it's my turn, so nobody can steal it from me.
It's fine.
But-
I didn't want that anyways.
That's fine because the show is incredible. I feel like if you went and watched an episode now, you'd be like, God damn, that was really funny. Also a show that probably you can't do anymore. It was a little edgy for a kid's show, if memory serves, but that's my list. So Mark, give me your last one.
Just because the toys that came out with the show were literally the greatest thing to ever
You're going to
happen.
say Street
in-
Sharks, aren't you?
Give me Street Sharks right away.
That was the one I was
yeah.
going to say earlier, too, is
Let's go.
that show was
Let's go. I win
terrible.
That. Yeah,
Let's
I know.
go. I win.
I wanted
That
to
doesn't
do
mean you can't make it better, though.
That
That's my hope with the reboot is get some better writers in there. Maybe add a couple characters. It's a great premise, though.
All right,
They
Brick,
had, they
finish
had
it off.
a bit of a good premise. Street Sharks was just like sick. They did amazing toys with it. That's the kind of the reason that I went with the Gargoyles route. I was gonna go that. I was gonna go Street Sharks, or I was gonna go like Biker Mice from Mars. Just go real deep cut with it. But I think I'm just gonna fucking keep it simple and just do fucking Doug, dude. How about you mind your own beeswax, Roger?
That's such a Mark pick. All right, I'll run through the list here. Brick went first. He had Tailspin, Rocket Power, Gargoyles, and Doug. Mark had X-Men, Hey Arnold, Real Monsters, and Street Sharks. And I had Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter, Johnny Bravo, and Angry Beavers. What got left off your list?
The Mike
Recess.
show.
Recess.
Recess is a good one. That was on my list. I can't believe Mark didn't take Darkwing Duck because that's literally just Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys remember
Wild
Freakazoid?
Thornberries. Freakazoid.
I remember Freakazoid. Freakazoid was good.
Freakazoid
Cow and-
rules.
Cow and Chicken, Ren and Stimpy.
So Ren and Stimpy I don't want to see more of. I would just rewatch the originals. Cow and Chicken was kind of brilliant. I still remember like all of the songs that they did. Remember IR Baboon?
Mm-hmm.
So dumb. But yeah.
Yep.
It's nice to look back on nostalgic things every now and then, and I really had trouble walking that line between what I actually want to see and pandering, because what I actually want to see is a Mighty Max remake, and I think you're both probably too young to remember that, but
Is that the mouse?
no.
That's Mighty Mouse.
Yes, that would be Mighty Mouse. So not the
Did you
same
guys-
thing.
Did you guys ever watch Billy and Mandy? I love that show.
Yeah,
Yeah, Billy and Mandy and Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
pretty
And then
dark.
two ones that I liked. Bonkers. Remember Bonkers? Apparently that's set for
Yes.
a remake too.
Wow. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah, Bonkers D Cat or something. I forget his last name. Bonkers D Bobcat, I think it was. And then the last one that I had was the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're just the grossest. I love how they just made like the grossest faces and grossest people, kind of like that Ren and Stimpy vibe, where it's like the close up of the face and just like, oh, you know what I mean?
Azrael's in the
Just love
chat.
that
He
kind of
says
humor.
Rocco's Modern Life. They did actually make a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say last year. So if you didn't catch that, go check it out. It's
Beavis and
it's a
Butthead.
weird show, man. When you realize that he works at a sex call center, it's just
Yep.
ugh. All right, let's move on to our review.
Chippendale.
That was Post Malone, right, for the theme song?
Yeah, that
Banger.
song fucking rips. I absolutely
Banger of a
downloaded
theme
it
song.
Went right to Spotify, put it on my playlist.
All right,
Chippendale.
this Chippendale Rescue Rangers, the reboot, currently at 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 83% from fans. I can't imagine not liking this unless you're just really young or really old and you didn't get any of this.
Right.
But this is
There
the closest thing we've had to Roger Rabbit since Roger Rabbit.
And Roger Rabbit was in it. And there was literally like 150 plus Easter eggs that they just kind of floated throughout their entire show. And it was like, oh, there's that, there's that, there's that. It just was like high paced. It was fun.
I'm guessing if you didn't like this, it's because you're like, ew, they're just trying to use my nostalgia to make me like it. But that's,
Yeah.
and they do, but they also do a really good job writing it. So this was directed by Akiva Schaffer, who, if you don't know him, he is 1/3 of The Lonely Island with Andy Samberg and Jorma Taccone. So Andy Samberg obviously is Dale in this, and John Mulaney really surprised me with his acting chops here, because you don't really see him do stuff like this. So he played Chip, and I thought he did an excellent job as the straight man. But I mean, should we just gush about this for a while? Brick, you seem excited. Go ahead.
I love the way that they integrated the animation styles together so like seamlessly and flawlessly, and they even had like good humor based off of like some of the old comic book or the old cartoon tropes. Like you're gonna see the guy who's floating for the stinky cheese, and just like you float and you're following it there, and then there's like an anvil dropping on your head, and you got the little umbrella coming up, and they just did like
The birds
It was-
around your head.
exactly, they stayed true to like that old nostalgic kind of like cartoon vibe, and I think that they played into it really well, and they didn't make it too raunchy or too like adult, where anybody all ages can like really appreciate the movie for what it was. And
It's
it was
nuanced enough that like it'll go over your kid's head, but it'll still make you laugh. I want to
and
run
that's a
through the
hard line to like, that's a hard line to draw, to like play on, is keeping it entertaining for kids, but also at the same time hitting those adult humor so the adults enjoy it as well.
I want to flip through the voice cast really quick because it was pretty incredible. We mentioned Sandberg and Mulaney. Eric Bana is Monterey Jack. Flula Borg, who, if you don't know, he's hilarious. He's the weird German guy. He plays the snake in this. We've got Keegan-Michael Key, who is the cheese puppet.
I loved that accent. He's got a fake Italian accent that he just
I loved that they brought Tress McNeil back as Gadget, because that's kind of an incredible callback to 30 years ago. And Tress McNeil is one of the most prolific voice actors in cartoons and everything else. So I thought that was a really cool nod. You also get Seth Rogen, who is a creepy Uncanny Valley dwarf or something.
Bob.
J.K. Simmons is the claymation police officer. Is he supposed to be from Gumby?
he's supposed to be a Gumby ripoff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not from Gumby though. I checked that because I used to watch Gumby. I'm like, I don't remember this guy at all.
Right. It was a play on Gumby, but it wasn't
Yeah.
Okay.
Gumby Persuade. It was literally them playing them parody rules as close as
Maybe,
possible.
yeah,
Like they did
maybe
with
that was
Ugly
the
Sonic.
one that they couldn't get the rights to. They were like, we'll just work around it. We also had one of my favorites, Will Arnett as Sweet Pete, who Eric and I were watching this together last night, and we were arguing about who Pete was going to be. I thought it was going to be Pete from like a Goofy movie, the
Yeah.
neighbor, the fat dad.
Oh, that would have been good.
Mhm.
It was Peter Pan, and it was middle-aged, burnt out, ripping cigs Peter Pan, and I fucking loved it.
So apparently, by the way, the real kid who played Peter Pan like early on in Disney, like literally got kind of blackballed from Disney and like turned into this like alcoholic homeless person
Oh,
who
no.
literally killed himself or like died at 30. And so like people are actually like kind of buttered about that portrayal, to be honest.
That makes me a little less comfortable with it, but that's still fun.
Yeah.
What if that was the case in the writers' room? We're like, remember the guy that actually played Peter Pan and how much of a degenerate he is? He'll
think he
know when he
died.
sees this. Yeah,
I think he died. That's hilarious.
he's gonna see this and hate it.
Fuck. You won't see it because he's dead. But
Is he dead?
he died at 30.
Oh,
and
damn.
he was homeless. Like they could,
That's tough.
because he grew older, they like kind of pushed him out of acting, I guess. Maybe he just wasn't a very good actor.
That's tough.
I do want to mention as well somebody else who reprised their earlier role, the voice actor for Lumiere, the candle. You got to have that voice because that's a very, very recognizable character, especially when he
very
drops the
distinct.
"Be Our Guest" line. But so the premise here is I really liked the way that they set this up, where they're not the actual rescue rangers, but they're the actors in Hollywood who played the rescue rangers. I thought that was a really clever spin on this because, frankly, I don't want to watch the Rescue Rangers again. This is a much better version of that. But their friend Monty from from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, gets kidnapped, and it sends them on this hunt. And they find that cartoons are being manipulated and sold overseas to avoid copyright laws. What a fucking meta movie.
They literally, when you really think about it, the parody law that they incorporated with like you literally turn into like a goofy-eyed bootleg, and they literally just bootlegged Sonic from Paramount and just like called him Ugly Sonic the whole time, and then made him have like bags under his eyes and a bit of a gut, and didn't reference any Sonic moves that he does, and they always refer to him as Ugly Sonic. So they literally made a bootleg Sonic version about a movie about cartoon characters getting bootlegged, and it was just like super well, it was like honestly well written.
I don't want to sit here and just be like, oh, remember this reference and that reference, but there are I'm excited to watch this again because I'm sure that I missed a ton of them. But you will never, I will never understand like how they got the rights to Randy Marsh to put in the background.
Oh my god!
What about Batman? What about Batman? Ben Affleck.
I said the
Batman.
same thing.
What was that about?
Batman
shit.
versus E.T. I would watch that movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Mr. Doubtfire with like Meryl Streep is like the guy.
Boss Logic literally just made a post on Instagram too, and it's like a movie poster of Batman about to punch E.T. in the face. It's great.
Our good friend Boss Logic. So maybe I will just ask, what was your favorite reference? If you can think about that.
So I'll give you two, and they were both billboards. One of the billboards was Funny and Pork Chop, like a law firm for like Doug Funny and Pork Chop his dog. The other one that I saw was Senator Butthead, and he had a fucking like bench ad. It just said Senator Butthead on it. Just stupid as hell. I just loved. It was small little details like that you could just kind of keep rewatching and seeing those. Like, oh, that's funny. Now, oh, I get that. I get that and that. I wish I would have saw Bonkers in there. I didn't really see Bonkers, but I probably just missed it, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, you might have just missed it. I loved the Lego Miserable joke that was also a billboard. The Doug Funny, your injury isn't funny. So stupid, but it's just so well done.
Yeah,
I appreciated the whole Polar Express animation style references where they're like, "Are you looking at me?" They're like, "You're not looking at me." The eyes are just glazed over, and it's that uncanny valley shit going on that wasn't quite there at all. the creepiness of it, they really hit on that well. And just Seth Rogen in general making it actually his face on that guy, I just thought was hilarious. Like,
and his
you
other,
you didn't need to do that, but you did. And then the meetup with all of his other voice acting characters at the end, that was clever too.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
I love the stinky cheese guy too. Just
Monty.
Yeah. Who wants a stinky cheese? And then who wants a cheese? Then he goes, got any stinky cheese? Then he just like
immediately
drops
turns
the
it off,
accent, drops the accent completely. You guys cops. Just like all about just stinky cheese. I just love that's like so stupid, but like perfectly within like that cartoon realm. And I love the world that they just built around this.
That was another thing that I guess I wouldn't have thought of, but they have tiny apartment buildings and tiny chipmunk-sized cars and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. I never really considered those would be living side by side. But yeah.
It's Smithers, back to what you mentioned in the beginning about how you appreciated how they made it about the actor's life and not actually like a Chippendale kind of show. Being in the writer's room for that must have been so fun. Like having the liberty to take this character and make them any way you want now, because you don't have to keep them in this bubble of how they were in a movie or show or whatever the character came from. Being able to just take that character and be like, all right, nobody's ever seen this side of them. I'm going to just write them this way or that way. I just thought because they did it like that in this movie, it just made the possibilities so much more, and they nailed it.
It also, I also, speaking of voices that change, the fact that like they do the squeaky voices in the very beginning, and then all of a sudden it's just John Mulaney and Andy Samberg. But yeah, that perspective of the story allows Andy Samberg to just be himself as Dale. Like when he's hitting on Tigra, and like she immediately turns around, he's like, "Wow, that was meanly quick." But yeah. I mean, it's a laugh a minute. I don't want to sit here and just keep gushing over it, but this is my favorite movie I've seen this year. I'm not saying it's the best or whatever, but I definitely enjoyed it the most. So this is an obvious see it for me.
Yeah, conveniently on Disney Plus, and I think the soundtrack, the score was good, and I think also just the way that I think the animation humor really was like original in terms of like it was seamless, but also like Roger Rabbit, we haven't had one of those movies in quite some time. But they also like incorporated not just like 2D animation, they did the 3D animation, they did claymation, they did live action, they did sock puppets, they did everything, and it just kind of worked. It worked. So see it for me.
Absolutely. Mark?
See it for me. There's something in this movie for everyone.
Except for apparently 20% of the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to, when we're done with this, flip through their reviews and just kind of see who gave it a bad one and why.
I'm curious to see what they watched as a child.
All right, I'm looking at one. This is Chris Sawin from Hub Pages. Rescue Rangers throws all of the ideas and characters at the wall to see what sticks, and before it can process what works and what doesn't, they're already throwing another pile at the wall. It's too much to digest and too much of a good thing all at once. Chris, you're an idiot. Couldn't disagree with you more. So,
great review.
Anything else we want to say about this before we move on? I'll give you a chance to give me one more. Hey, remember that part?
I just think Ugly Sonic was great. That was absolutely needed to be revived at some point, and I think it coming up in this movie was a perfect opportunity and a way to do it.
I wonder how that works. Like, do they own the rights still to Ugly Sonic because that's not the design that they ended up using? I'm really just fuzzy
Sonic.
on that.
That's not Ugly Sonic.
I know, but if they used lifted a direct copy of it, I think they might have had some problems. But
oh yes,
yeah.
Good lawyers for Disney. What can you say?
Yeah, that's the other thing. There are a lot of downsides to one studio owning all of Hollywood. This is one of the upsides because they have the rights to whatever fucking property they want. They used The Simpsons in there. They used everything. Rick and Morty made an appearance.
Yeah, with the multiverse exploding the way it has in all of media, we got from obviously started with Marvel. We got DC's multiverse to a certain degree. We've got this show. We've got like Shrek in general. I mean,
Shrek obviously made Shrek references.
Yeah, the multiverse is the video game that we were talking about earlier today. Like everybody's doing multiverses. And Umbrella Academy, like everybody's doing it's just the way it is right now, and it's like really well. It's fun. It's fun to play around with.
Is this going to be like escalating porn fetishes where we just keep going to the point that you need more and more to be satisfied? It's like a drug addiction that just gets worse, and you need more multiverse shot into your veins to hold you over.
That's just civilization as a whole right now.
Yeah.
Everybody
We,
wants everything all at once.
especially Americans, we love nothing if not excess. But
That's right.
that's been our review of Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Absolutely go watch this movie. It's brilliant.
Chippendale.
So it sounds like we're probably going to do Top Gun next week, which will be fun. Hopefully it's not just a big propaganda piece to get people to join the Air Force or whatever. How many people do you think wanted to become pilots and joined and couldn't become pilots just because of Top Gun? Like, got to be tens of thousands.
I have no idea.
If not join the Air Force after just seeing Tom Cruise in that role, they for sure try to join Scientology.
When did it be known that he was a Scientologist? Was that like in the 90s?
I don't know.
I want to look into that. That's interesting. I'd like to see what that did to his like career trajectory, because if it was right around the time of, I don't know, like Show Me the Money, then whatever.
I wonder if there's like a super fan out there that actually got facial reconstructive surgery to get
put
a
a third tooth. Yeah, I could see that happening.
Could be.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been episode 294 of the Chumpcast. As always, we love you. Thank you for downloading and watching and listening. Tell a friend if you could. Leave us a review, 5 stars, please. Top Gun next week. Find us on social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can also call or text us at 847-920-6107. Brick can't say goodbye because he's gone, but until next time.
Ciao, Bella. Chumps out, motherfucker.